At the start of the film, 4 kids called Sai, Noi, Jerd, and Tet are shown. They are 4 children who are heading to the jungle. They come to a halt at a home in the middle of the forest. There was a lot of rumors about the home because it had been fascinated by the spirit. And it kills everybody who comes here at night. Jerd laughs when he hears it. The children then engage in a game of hide and seek. Then, Sai and Noi hide in the same house. In that house, Sai finds a box. She looks inside and finds nothing. However, we observe a head shadow on Sai's back. After many years, the same girl, Sai, is portrayed again as an adult. At the time, Sai is asleep in her bed. When she wakes up, she notices the bloodstained bed. And she starts cleaning it. Sai works as a dermatologist. She is on her way to the hospital. Then she meets Jerd, who is attracted to her. He follows her and arrives at her hospital. Jerd expresses his feelings for her and attempts to persuade her. He invites Sai to accompany him because there is no one else in the hospital at that moment. Meanwhile, a woman arrives with her injured child. Sai starts to treat him immediately. That lady notifies Sai that Krejay had abused her neighbor's chickens. And that lady's husband informs Sai and Jerd that several locals have seen Krejay. Krejay is a ghost spirit who comes at night and preys on night owls and animals. That lady advises them to close their doors and windows to protect themselves from Krejay. As they leave, Sai tells Jerd that she misses Noi. And Noi is the same child who had accompanied Sai at that house that night as kids. Sai admits that she has no idea where he is. What is he doing? When Sai is dining with her grandparents at night, she learns that her father will be safeguarding them from Krejay tonight. When Sai's friend arrives, she discusses Jerd and her marriage to him. However, Sai dismisses such discussion. When Sai is sleeping at night, she dreams about the forest house in Krejay. When she wakes up in the morning, she discovers the bloodstained bed. And it was bigger than before. All of the windows were open, and Sai was injured. Sai is concerned about it. When it's time to leave the hospital, Sai invites Jerd to accompany her to the forest house. When they are on their way to that forest house, they run across their childhood friend Noi. There is also a crowd with Noi, who are the Krejay hunters that scare the villagers by telling Krejay stories. They describe Krejay's initial victims are chickens. When the chickens are over, they move on to the cows, buffaloes, and goats. And after that, to satisfy their hunger, they go after humans. The Krejay hunters' chief has brought the head of a dead Krejay with him. He warns the locals that the water in which Krejay spits is also cursed. And any girl who consumes it gets converted into Krejay. And if any boy drinks it, then his entire body will to hurt. This excruciating torment kills him. Hearing his story, the locals allow him to remain in the village with great fear. And Sai takes care of everything at the hospital for Noi's stay. While Jerd and his companion take care of Noi's secondary requirements, such as clothes. Sai, on the other hand, was feeling awkward. And she informs Jerd that she wants to go alone. She walks alone after saying that. When she wakes up the next morning, she sees the blood-covered bed and vomits blood. And Sai comes to know that someone has eaten the buffalo, after killing it. Everyone was suspicious that it was Krejay's act. Then Noi informs Sai that Jerd has also joined the hunters group. He tells Jerd, they're evil. Do not join them. Jerd, on the other hand, does not respect Noi's statements. And he says, I have joined this gang to defend the locals. Jerd pays a visit to Sai before accompanying the Krejay's hunters at night. He requests her to close the doors and windows. He says that and leaves. Then Sai feels weird and extreme pain. At first glance, Sai appears to be Krejay. Here, it is revealed that Sai was indeed Krejay. Her every night dream was not a fantasy, but was based on fact. At the same time, the son of Sai's friend vanished. She then moves on to the Krejay hunters. Then Krejay, who is Sai, is seen soaring through the sky, and the hunters begin firing on her. Jerd then returns that lady's child. Noi notices Krejay Sai as she walks back home. Peeping through the window, he is shocked to see that Sai is, in fact, Krejay. He is scared. When Sai arrives at the hospital the next morning, she is disappointed not to see Noi there. Noi had learned the truth about Sai, and as a result, he had fled in terror. Sai is now in need of help. Her closest friend, on the other hand, abandons her. Noi sleeps at a temple after seeing Krejay. He inquires of the monk about Krejay. He claims that this ghost has been living with humans for a long time yet is completely harmless. And these ghosts are not others, but the humans who cast spells with dark magic, and their deceitful method of enchantment has transformed them into ghosts. As a consequence, girls are converted into Krejay and guys into Crane. Noi informs him that my closest friend is Krejay. Monk responds, don't make any emotional decision. You should make your decision from the heart. When Sai transforms into Krejay at night, Noi delivers numerous dead chickens for Sai. She stays inside while eating those chickens. When Sai arrives to the hospital the next morning, she finds Noi there. She is happy to see him. Noi used to bring numerous chickens for Sai every night after that. As a result, she does not feel the urge to go outside. Furthermore, residents are surprised because Kraus has not been seen in over a month. Gerd is still among the hunters. Noi is putting his efforts into finding a solution. Monk teaches Noi about the Krejay herb plant. A Krejay begins to transform into a regular being after eating it. In the hospital, Sai is caring for a child. Noi arrives and gives Sai a drink. She drinks some of it and puts it away. That little girl consumes Sai's leftover juice. That young girl is also cursed after drinking Sai's leftover juice. She has also become Krejay. Her parents are concerned after seeing their daughter's transformation. And they call the Krejay hunter. The Krejay hunter's chief tempts the little girl with a dead lizard. They put the little girl to death and cut her heart out when she is caught. Ted inquires of his parents, when did she convert into Krejay? According to them, after she returned from the hospital, she transformed into Krejay. Ted suspects Sai is Krejay after hearing this, and she is the cause for the transformation of that little girl into Krejay. Sai is upset about it since a small girl died as a result of her. And she doesn't want to be a victim of these Krejay hunters like that little girl. And Noi is still with Sai, and Sai asks him to accompany her into the forest. Because Sai used to dream about that mansion every night. And Sai reasoned that the solution to this problem may be found there. Ted spots Noi and Sai walking there since he has been tracking Sai. Sai and Noi arrive to the house in the forest. And Sai obtains the Krejay herb. Sai feels it comfortable after eating that herb. Both are happy since eating this plant would break Sai's curse. And she will be safe from hunters. Meanwhile, Krejay hunters and Gerd come. When Gerd notices their closeness, he loses his rage and begins hitting Noi. On the other hand, Sai escapes taking the herb. Every hunter is chasing her. Sai enters the house and goes to the box. In her thoughts, a flashback occurs. Sai was cursed by that Krejay when she was playing hide and seek there as kids. And Sai's memories are recreated there. All the hunters enter the home to put an end to Sai. Sai is enraged to see them. And she has been transformed into Krejay. She attacks them one by one, finishing up their two members. Gerd enters the house after hearing the gunshots. He notices Ted is about to shoot Sai. Gerd rushes to stop Ted. However, Ted becomes enraged and attacks Gerd. Gerd is severely injured and loses consciousness. Because of Krejay's presence, a horrible storm has erupted. Noi takes Sai from there after a brief moment of peace. The next day, villagers learn that numerous Krejay hunting members had been killed. And they were killed by Krejay alone, and not anyone else. Villagers are enraged when they see this. Ted then arrives, carrying the injured Gerd. Ted tells his parents that Krejay is to blame for his condition. When they arrive in the forest to hunt Krejay, Krejay then killed two of their members. He also reveals that Sai is actually Krejay. Hearing it, the entire community decides to murder Sai. And they flee in anger from there. Noi overhears their conversation and rushes to Sai. So he can protect her by informing her the entire tale. Sai is in pain and is looking for those herbs as well. Because of their kiss, Noi experiences the same pain. Finally, he gets cursed as well. Villagers and hunters are stopped by Sai's father from killing Sai. Hearing this, they threaten to burn down Sai's house and put her to death. Meanwhile, Sai's father calls her outside from the home. Sai does not turn into Krejay as she has eaten the herb, so she goes outside. Ted is shocked to see that she didn't turn into Krejay yet. He blames Sai for the deaths of the people and accuses her of being Krejay. Sai, on the other hand, blames Ted and his friends. She admits that they kidnapped her the night before and attempted to kill her. She claims Gerd rescued her from them. As a result, Ted fled from there. Gerd enters his house and discovers Ted hiding there. Ted attacks Gerd and bites him. Gerd is also cursed now and transforms into a crane after being bitten. Boys are converted into cranes while girls into Krasus. Ted was Crane, therefore he used to pull the heart out of everyone once they were killed. This incident has a complicated backstory. Crane is actually a demon, and Krejay is his wife. She once fell in love with a human being. Krejay is attempting to flee with the human, but Crane traps them. He rips Krejay's heart out. Crane has had a burning desire for vengeance since that day. Sai no longer transforms into Krejay since she consumes the herb every night. While Noi searches for a cure, Jerd's condition deteriorated, and his parents were concerned after seeing him. Ted destroys all of those herbs, hence eliminating the cure for Sai's natural condition. No other choice because she just have 2 herbs left. Noi, too, cannot find its medicine. To get out of this situation, Noi invites Sai to accompany him to Hong Kong. Sai moves to Jerd's house, but she is disappointed to discover him in such poor condition. Jerd informs her, "I know you're Krejay. I knew it when you refused to let me accompany you. I've also seen you eat buffalo. It was the motivation for joining the Hunters organization. So he can defend Sai from the villagers." Jerd insists Sai to be with him. Noi is waiting for Sai after finalizing his escape plans. Sai is also getting ready to go. Sai's father then comes and takes her to a location where all the villagers are present. He takes Sai there for her and the villagers' protection, as well as to save her from being labeled as Krejay. Ted, on the other hand, provokes Jerd by saying that Sai is leaving with Noi and fooling you. He is always provoking Jerd. He gets enraged and changes into Crane. Sai's agony has also begun. The most difficult aspect was that she no longer had any herbs. In front of everyone, she is converted into Krejay. The villagers are terrified and begin shooting on her. Sai appears to head towards the forest. They decide to burn Sai's body to get rid of Krejay while attacking. Furthermore, Sai's father makes every effort to stop them from doing so. Meanwhile, Ted and Jerd, who have merged to create Crane, arrive. Krejay is caught by Jerd. Noi brings back memories of Jerd, hence reminding him that it's Sai who is now Krejay. As a result, he cannot hurt her. Ted then attacks Sai with the intention of killing her. Jerd battles Ted over saving Sai. On the other hand, while the villagers injure Sai's body, Ted and Jerd are having a terrific fight. Finally, Ted rips Jerd's heart out. Sai's father and Noi hold the villagers away from Sai's body. Monks arrive just as Ted is about to kill Sai. They shoot Ted and he dies there. Monk instructs Noi to accompany Sai's body to the riverside. He does the same and takes Sai's body to the riverbank. Jerd's parents and a group of villagers then follow them. Meanwhile, Noi reaches the riverside and places Sai's body in the boat. At the same time, he assures Sai that everything will be okay. "We will take you to Bangkok, where you will be treated and recovered." As it can seen, Sai's body was badly damaged, making it impossible for her soul to enter her body. When Krejay, a ghost spirit, witnesses Noi's strong love and faith, it begins to cry. She cuts the boat's anchor rope, allowing them to get to Bangkok. Noi, on the other hand, is constantly sobbing because it is the moment of separation for both of them. Meanwhile, Jerd's father shoots at Sai. Noi, Sai's great love, sees Sai die in front of his eyes and loses her forever. This is how the movie comes to an end. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe for more.